A bitter wind howled across the vast Russian steppe, whipping snow against the rickety hut where Ivan, the youngest of 3 Tsarevich brothers, huddled by the dying embers of the hearth. Unlike his elder siblings, destined for grand military campaigns and opulent lives, Ivan was considered a simpleton, content with tending the fire and mending fishing nets. Yet, fate, a fickle mistress, brewed a storm far grander than the one raging outside. One starless night, a tremor shook their humble abode. Alarmed, Ivan stepped out into the biting cold to find the Tsar, his father, pacing restlessly. His face, etched with worry lines deeper than any winter furrow, mirrored the turmoil within. The fabled Firebird, a creature whose feathers rivaled the dawn and whose song held the power to banish darkness, had vanished from its golden cage within the royal palace. Despair hung heavy in the air, suffocating the flickering candlelight in the Tsar's eyes. "My eldest sons," the Tsar rasped, his voice laden with defeat, "have scoured the kingdom, but the Firebird remains elusive. You, Ivan," he continued, a flicker of desperation igniting in his gaze, "are known for your unconventional methods. Perhaps you hold the key to bringing back the light." A hush fell over the frozen landscape. Ivan, ever the dutiful son, felt a spark of determination ignite within him. Despite the whispers of his being a fool, a glint of steel shone in his eyes. "I shall not disappoint you, father," he declared, his voice firm despite the tremor in his heart. His journey began at the break of dawn. Armed with nothing but a knapsack filled with meager provisions and a heart brimming with unwavering resolve, he ventured deep into the forbidden forest, a realm shrouded in ancient magic and whispered warnings. The gnarled branches of ancient oaks clawed at the sky, their shadows twisting into grotesque shapes in the twilight. Strange whispers followed him, rustling leaves and mournful howls that danced on the edge of perception. Days bled into weeks. Hunger gnawed at his belly, and fear gnawed at his spirit. Yet Ivan pressed on, fueled by the image of the Tsar's desperate face. One moonlit night, as exhaustion threatened to claim him, a pair of glowing eyes pierced the darkness. A monstrous wolf, its fur the color of smoke and its eyes burning like embers, emerged from the trees. A wave of terror washed over Ivan, but before he could react, the wolf spoke, its voice, a guttural rumble that echoed through the trees, startled him more than the sight of the beast itself. "Fear not, Ivan Tsarevich," it rasped. "I have been sent to guide you. The Firebird is close, but its song comes at a price." Ivan, his initial fear replaced by a cautious curiosity, agreed to follow the enigmatic creature. The wolf navigated through hidden paths and treacherous bogs, revealing a secret world teeming with magic. Finally, they arrived at a clearing bathed in an ethereal glow. There, perched on a golden branch, was the Firebird, its plumage a kaleidoscope of vibrant colors that defied description. Its song, a melody woven from moonlight and stardust, banished the forest's darkness, bathing the clearing in an otherworldly light. As Ivan reached for the magnificent creature, the wolf growled a warning. "Remember, Tsarevich," it boomed, "the price is a test of your heart. Greed will be your undoing." The meaning hung heavy in the air, a riddle wrapped in a mystery. But mesmerized by the bird's beauty, Ivan ignored the warning. He lunged forward, his hand outstretched. But the Firebird, with a screech that tore through the night, erupted in flames, blinding him with its brilliance. When the light subsided, the clearing was empty. The Firebird was gone, and so was the wolf. Despair threatened to engulf him, but then a single ember, a feather of otherworldly fire, landed at his feet. It pulsed with a faint light, a beacon of hope in the encroaching darkness. With a heavy heart, Ivan clutched the feather and began his long journey back. He returned to the palace greeted by jeers and disappointment. His brothers scoffed, dismissing his claim of the single feather as the babblings of a fool. But the Tsar, seeing the glimmer of determination in Ivan's eyes, held onto a sliver of hope. That night, as the darkness threatened to swallow the palace, Ivan placed the feather atop the empty cage. As if awakened by a forgotten melody, the feather burst into flames, illuminating the room in an ethereal light. And then, from the flames, materialized the Firebird, its song filling the palace with a warmth that banished the shadows. The court erupted in cheers. Ivan, the youngest son, the supposed fool, had become the savior. The cheers echoed through the grand hall, washing over Ivan in a wave of disbelief and relief. Yet a sliver of unease gnawed at him. The wolf's words, "The price is a test of your heart," echoed in his mind, a haunting melody. The Firebird, though back, seemed subdued, its once vibrant plumage dulled, its song lacking the power to banish darkness completely. Days turned into weeks, and a disquiet settled over the palace. The Firebird remained listless, its song a mere echo of its former glory. The Tsar's initial gratitude waned, replaced by a growing suspicion. Whispers fluttered through the court, fueled by Ivan's elder brothers, who, jealous of his newfound acclaim, painted him as a trickster, one who had somehow trapped a weakened Firebird. One moonless night, as Ivan stood vigil beside the golden cage, the feather in his hand radiating a faint warmth, the wolf reappeared. Its eyes, once embers, now glowed with a cold, malevolent light. "You have failed, Ivan Tsarevich," it snarled, its voice devoid of its former gruffness. "Greed clouded your judgment. You sought the Firebird's beauty, not its song, not the light it brings. The Firebird's power is tied to the purity of its melody, and yours is tainted." A wave of dread washed over Ivan. He understood now. The price wasn't the Firebird itself, but the purity of his intentions. He had sought a personal reward, not the well-being of the kingdom. "What can I do?" he pleaded, his voice hoarse with desperation. "The kingdom needs the Firebird's light." The wolf's eyes narrowed. "There is one way," it rasped. "You must prove the purity of your heart. Enter the Firebird's realm, a realm of fire and illusion, and retrieve its lost song. But beware, the path is fraught with danger, and failure will mean not just your demise, but the kingdom's descent into an eternal night." A heavy silence descended upon the hall. Ivan knew this was no easy feat. The Firebird's realm, a place spoken of only in hushed whispers, was a labyrinth of scorching flames and deceptive images, yet the responsibility weighed upon him. He had caused this predicament, and he, alone, could set things right. With a resolute nod, Ivan stepped towards the cage. As he touched the feather, a searing heat engulfed him. The world dissolved into a blinding inferno. When his vision cleared, he found himself standing on a desolate plain, the ground cracked and smouldering beneath his feet. Two suns, one burning crimson, the other a chilling blue, bled into a twilight sky. In the distance, a towering fortress of black obsidian loomed, its gates guarded by creatures of fire and shadow. This was the Firebird's realm, a twisted reflection of its lost melody. Ivan, the youngest of three Tsarevich brothers, the supposed fool, now stood at the precipice of a new kind of heroism, one that would test not just his strength, but the very core of his being.